Kate, can you hear me? That is you. My back is a little wonky, so I'm gonna just
Your
roll.
back is?
Yeah, I'm back.
Thank you. What's up, y'all? Anything you want to do today? Lower back. Anyone else? All right. Like 9 out of 10 times when your low back hurts, it's not your low back. It's something else that's bringing some kind of tension to your low back. Most of the time, it's a hip flexor or quad because they're attached to the front of the pelvis, so they're going to pull. Like think like this is your belly button. Here's your pubic bone, your junk's down here. Your sit bones, right? Here's like your sacrum, your spine coming out, right? And what happens is this. So is anterior pelvic tilt, where your belly button falls to the floor, right? And because all these muscles are tight here, so they're pulling, right, the front of your pelvis forward. So not only do you have to release these, but you have to activate these, right? That's why, like, I'm not really big on, I don't do a lot of, like, if I get to pick, right? I always ask y'all what you want to do, but if I get to pick, I don't do a lot of hamstring stretches. It's not what I see in your bodies. What I see is a lack of hamstring engagement. So if your hamstrings aren't engaged, remember they're attached back here to your sit bones, there's no pull down. And you could pull your belly button like to your spine all day long. It's never going to beat what's going on with these quads and these hip flexors. So not only do you have to work some core belly to go back, but you got to engage these hamstrings so they pull this way down. Does that make sense? So we'll try to get that today. That's why I do a lot of stuff with y'all, like reaching the like this. Most of y'all know, like, you know, there's a method to my madness, right? Like, this is about getting these muscles to turn on. This is about firing low spinal erectors. I'm not trying to get that with y'all. Sometimes we do tiger pose, sometimes we're going for that. But when we're reaching our heel back, it's just to get these muscles to extend. This is like, this is real easy, okay? This is second. This is like the most challenging. This is extension of your hip. This is like the most challenging for us to do, especially like glute-wise. It's your glute and your hamstring here, this outside one, that are gonna extend the hip. So we'll try to turn some of that stuff on. We'll try to get the core engaged. And then of course we'll play with the low back a little bit. We'll try to open it up and stretch a little bit, but we'll try to get some of those other places too. We ready? Take a nice seat, close the eyes. Sit up tall. Think about where you're at in this moment. Set the intentions for your class. What is it that you want to achieve from your practice? It could be as simple as you just want to come and hang out with your cooler, your yoga family. You could be rehabbing an injury. You could want to work on your asana, your postures. Could have came for a workout to strengthen up, whatever it is. It's important, it's valuable, it's what brought you to the mat. We want to honor it. We're going to use it, right, to build on. The first thing we'll build is our breath. So from listening to yourself breathe, to slowing down the beginning of the inhale and pushing more on the end of the exhale, to counting out the breath all the way to Ujjayi. Find where you need to settle into today. In this moment. You hear me say all the time, with each breath, a new moment. So your next breath, if you want to go somewhere else, go there. If you want to hold that same place, hold. But bring out what feels the best to you. Lean back a little bit. That's something we'll all have to do. And as you feel those sit bones root, you start to feel that energy run up your spine. Those muscles are starting to work now. Spinal erectors, right? Something supposed to hold us up. So we're feeling that there's a lift now. Let the head and the throat settle back as the shoulders just nice and gently slide back. We don't want to pinch our shoulder blades to our spine, but we don't want our shoulders rounding forward either. So find that neutral place. Next inhale at the arms, lift. And let the exhale bring the fingertips and the knuckle pads, the root, as the heels of the hands lightly touch. And one time together to initiate our practice. Together the sound of Om, all together. Deep breath in. Beautiful. As we softly bow our head to our heart, so heads to each other's hearts. Inhale, lift the head, open the eyes, release the hands. Okay, let's start out child's pose. So we start here a lot when we're going to get into that low back. So child's pose, toes are touching and knees are wide, so they're like to the edges of your mat. And then arms are up overhead. Now, here we got a little bit of an engagement because our knees are bent, which means our hamstrings are engaged. So if you keep pulling your heels to your butt and your butt to your heels, you're going to feel the backs of the legs stay engaged. They're going to now pull those sit bones towards your heels, and you want to root them there. Then as your sit bones root to your heels, that's below your waist. Now breathe above your waist. Right up the spine, up those side bodies. Now you made space. Keep hugging the hands into the midline. Let the forearms lift up. Let the inner biceps lift up. So this is a little more of an active child's pose. And now soften your chest towards the mat a little bit. And what you should feel is there's a big opener, right, running up the side bodies, running up the chest and the arm, but in the upper back, you're feeling a big engagement. Right between your shoulder blades from your head to your butt. That's extension of your spine. And then as you look forward, walk your hands to the right side, and then root that left sit bone into that left heel, and then breathe up that left side. Feel from that QL up those spinal erectors, those lats, those intercostal muscles, the muscles that are like between your ribs. You feel all this starting to open up. Inhale, come back to center, soften down the middle. And then when you're ready, walk the hands towards the left. And then root into that right sit bone, and then feel that peel come up the right side. You feel an engagement in the left side. And just keep playing with it. Breathe, expand those ribs, and then walk those hands a little further to the left and feel that peel. Next inhale, come back to center, soften down the middle, and then next inhale, come up, all fours, hands and knees. Hands an inch or two in front of your shoulders, knees an inch or two behind your hips. Build it up, low mountain. So we're hugging those hands into the midline. We're hugging forearms in. We're squeezing our biceps. We're sliding the head and the throat back. We're sweeping the inner heels out. We're hugging the shins in. We're pulling our heels to our butt to our heels. There's those hamstrings. Stay with the belly to spine. Keep the shutters closed. And now breathe. Low mountain. Feel that space, especially in the upper body here, between the ribs, from hips to armpits, expanding side to side. And when you're ready, oscillating cat-cow. So on the inhale, you're going to take the hips up, back, and around. And then exhale, you're going to bring them forward and under. You take the hips up, back, and around. You could even look up. Then as the hips come forward and under, maybe look under. Let's get 5 one way. And we'll get 5 the other. This is a real nice way to clear the lumbar spine, the vertebrae, right? The bones here. So we're not just hitting muscles, all right? We're going to try to decompress these areas that tend to get compressed, right? That's definitely your lumbar spine. And then after your 5, come to a neutral position. And then when you're ready, 5 to side 2. Up, back, and around. Down, forward, and under. Anybody that has sciatica, this is like a nice sciatica move too. Now, this is my 5th one. After your 5th, come to that flat back, that low mountain again. See, even here, what wants to happen? This. All right? This is exactly what we just talked about earlier. So what do I got to do? I got to pull like my heels to my butt to my heels. I'm not lifting my feet, but that's the action, like I'm pulling this way. Right? Now, all of a sudden, these start to come down a little bit so the belly can draw in. Look how solid I am now in my lumbar spine. See, now I could play because now I'm going to be set up. Walk your knees back, come to puppy dog. So knees are back a few inches, arms are up overhead. We're like a non-weight bearing or a little less weight bearing downward dog, still bearing weight. Now this wants to happen. I got to be this way. Belly to spine and shutters are closed. It should feel like your chest is lifting up away from the mat. We want that. Slide the throat back, and now you feel that work between the shoulder blades. Then look forward, TP the fingers on the right hand, thread that left hand underneath with the palm up. We take the twist. Now we're starting to rotate more towards that middle upper back. The big twists come in that middle upper back, whatever your side one is. Yep. I actually did opposite so I could kind of face y'all on side 1. Inhale, come back to center, soften down the middle. Notice, is the belly in the shutters? Did you lose it and the chest is collapsing to the floor? If it is, pull the belly in, pull the shutters closed, feel the chest lift up. Then TP the fingers on the left hand or your side 2 and thread that right hand underneath with the palm up. Now don't let that right hip come with you, so keep pushing down into that right knee. Then keep breathing above the waist to make some space, and then twist a little deeper into the pose. Next inhale, come back to center, soften down the middle, take that breath. Next inhale, come up, all 4s, hands and knees. Same thing, hands an inch or 2 in front of the shoulders, knees an inch or 2 behind the hips. Inhale, right arm up and left leg back. So here, right, I'm keeping the engagement, pulling my heel to my butt. This one, I'm reaching the heel back like I'm trying to push the wall down behind me. Exhale, lower. Make sure your hips width apart when you lower the knee. The tendency is to go too narrow. Left arm up, right leg back. Now, reach out of the back heel. Reach forward out of the fingertips and the crown of the head. Exhale, lower. Put it with your breath. Inhale, right arm up, left leg back. Exhale, lower. Your breath. Left arm up, right leg back, or your side 2. Exhale, lower. Keep it going. Lifting from the inner upper edge of the forearm and the inner upper edge of the thigh. Thumb is up, toes are down. Stay with your breath. So if it's 2 seconds to inhale, how long it takes to lift the arm and the leg. 2 seconds to exhale to lower them back down. Let's do one more each side. But notice how the belly button wants to fall to the floor. The shutters want to blow open. Don't let them. And then after your last one, come to neutral. Here's the shutters if you're not sure. Shutters want to blow open. You got to close the shutters. That's the top of your ab. Here we go. Take a nice breath here. Step back to plank. Shoulders are on top of the wrist crease, and I'm reaching out of my heels. Another common tendency is this. We don't want this. We're up here. Now keep that space. Push back to downward dog. This space should match with your downward dog, right? So your feet where they're at, there's the placement. That's going to give you the space now. Actually, we're about to do this in a second, but it's going to give you the space to move, right, from one pose to the next. So here in downward dog, you could bend the knees if you want on the first one. Then you can hug the hands in. You can lift the forearms and the inner biceps like we did earlier, but now we're a little more weight bearing.
Slide the head and the throat back. You start to feel that work between those shoulder blades. And now soften your chest back towards your toes or towards your shins. Yep. But don't let the throat fall. Don't let the throat go like the chin to the floor. Keep sliding the back of your throat like forward. Now maybe engage those legs. So you're pulling heels to butt, sweeping heels out, pulling knees to waist. Then start to maybe reach down the back of the legs and out of the bottom of the heels. And as the inhale comes forward to plank, exhale back to downward dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Back to downward dog. Let's do 5. So we're moving a little more dynamic here. Working through the arms and the chest and the shoulders and the upper back. Igniting that core to start stabilizing that low back. One more. On this one, as you come forward, let the exhale lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. So you keep your low back safe here by pulling your hands back to you and then going belly to spine, pubic bone, like you're pushing your junk into the yoga mat. Then the shoulders can go back and down. And then lower your chest, push up through plank, back to downward dog. Now, if it feels good to keep your knees bent, keep your knees bent. If it feels good to try to straighten your legs, try to straighten your legs. It's not a one's better than the other, right? They're both awesome. It's just wherever you want to be. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. So you can stay low. You can start to come up higher a little bit, but shoulders are back and down. Head and throat back. After your 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Chaturanga is another one I see the challenge in the low back. You got to think, it's not just belly to spine, but it's sit bones to like your backs of your knees. Now, can you go too far? Of course you can. So you got to find where's that sweet spot. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. That's it. Find wherever your space is, high in the fingertips or the blocks. Now start to work. The whole thing about the height is, right, about making your spine neutral. We don't want this to happen, right? So no matter how high I would have to come up, I'm trying to resist that. I want to get to this neutral spine. Then I could start to lower the blocks and challenge the depth of my flexion, right, on my right leg. That's how I'm going to get lower, not by rounding the back to get there. Work here, so soften that right thigh down. Yep. Now keep that, keep hugging in. Front to back, side to side. Then we reach out of the back heel, the front knee, and the crown of the head. As the exhale lowers the knee, inhale the arms in front, plug them in, take them up overhead. Now keep dragging that back knee forward. It's going to then start to bring that left hip forward. Then pull the pelvic floor up. Then your belly. When you hit the shutters, you feel a lift up through the spine. Now you can curl back into it a little bit, if that feels good. If staying up straight is where you need to be, stay up straight. It's just wherever you want to express the pose. One more breath. Exhale the hands down, flip the blocks up. Lift the back knee. Slowly straighten the front leg. Re-square that hip forward and down, look forward. And then fold down the inside of that right leg. Even here, we're opening up the back of the legs a little bit from the hip to the knee. In the right leg, we're opening up the front, right, as wearing like plantar flexion, like a high heel, as compared to dorsa, where your toenails are closer to your shin. Here, they're further away, right? So that means we're opening up the front of that shin. But keep the engagement by dragging the feet towards one another, by pulling those heels to the butt. One more breath. As you look forward, bend into that lead knee, lunge, place the hands down, downward dog. On your breath, work through one vinyasa. So inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Exhale, lower back to chaturanga or lower your chest. So see, belly in, sit bones down. Push up through plank, back to downward dog. Remember, your body's always going to take the path of least resistance, right? The easy way. You got to like consciously move it towards that challenge. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. Awesome. Nice lunges. Keep that power. At any moment that your hands come up, you don't even move, right? All the power here is in your legs. These are just here to like settle your mind a little bit, right? There's a connection. So your mind goes, oh, he's okay. I can stretch, right? I can let things go. If my body doesn't feel like, my mind doesn't feel like my body's safe, it's certainly not going to stretch, right? That doesn't make any sense. It's going to hug in. It's going to hold on. So here we go. We set up real nice. Now my body feels comfortable. I reach the heel back. As I pull the front knee back, I reach the knee forward. I reach up out of the crown of the head. I breathe side to side. And then the exhale lowers the knee. I start dragging forward. Then as you come up, if you got to stop, stop and plug. If you're ready to go, take them up overhead. Then as you pull up, right, root, I tend to get you here, right, into the belly and those shudders to get the lift. But take the chakras all the way up through the crown and then maybe play with the pose. If it feels good to stay up straight, stay up straight. Keep working the belly. Get that lift out of the lumbar. If you want to curl into the upper back, the thoracic spine, that's a different place. So you're curling back just underneath your shoulder blades, not in that lumbar spine. That's some detail right there. One more breath. And then exhale the hands down, flip the blocks up, lift that back knee, slowly straighten the front, then square that right hip forward and down, then look forward, and the spine gets tall, and then maybe fold to the inside of that left leg. Kneecap should be pointing like straight forward out in front of you. If it's collapsing in, right, then you might take the thumb to the thigh and take the top of that thigh back. But if the kneecap's straight, then that's neutral. One more breath. Look forward, bend into that lead knee, lunge. Place the hands down, step back, downward dog, move through one vinyasa. Nice, y'all. Belly in, sit bones down in those planks and those chaturangas. So even here, I got to go lower my chest, but boom, sit bones down. That lets the low back be safe that I could pop back to chaturanga. From downward dog, look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up, big reach. Keep rooting down, keep reaching up, like reach up through your thumbs. Now you're nice and tall. Keep the belly in, keep those shutters closing, and then maybe curl back just a little bit. Feel that peel come up the abdominal wall, through your chest, your neck, up the front of your face. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands to the tops of the thighs. Sit back nice and deep. Push down into the tops of the thighs. We're just trying to like persuade a little bit of space here. Push down, rise up. Take the arms up overhead. Right hand grabs that left wrist. Take that side bend to the right. Push down into your left heel. That's from the hip to the heel, below the waist. Now peel above the waist. Yep, and then go a little deeper into the pose. Belly's in, shutters closed. Head and throat back, arms back. Inhale, come up, swap the hands. This time root down into that right heel and then peel up above the waist and then go just a little bit and then root down and then peel up and go a little bit deeper and then keep doing that. Head and throat back, arms back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step the right leg back, lunge. So there's that extension out of the hip. Right hand down, left elbow draws back, maybe take the twist open. Reach that right heel back behind you. Yes. Now open up the chest a little bit deeper for the twist. Inhale, come back to center. Now push from your right foot to your left heel. There's that extension in the hip again. Swap side two, so reach that left leg back. Reach out of the heel. Float back. When you're ready, left hand stays down. Right elbow draws back. Maybe we take the twist. Keep softening that right thigh to the floor as you lift the left one up. And then as the twist goes above the waist, feel it happen in that middle upper back. Inhale, come back to center. Step forward. Swing the arms up, big reach. Maybe curl back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front. Let the thumbs just come to heart center. Let your eyes close for a couple breaths. Let your thumbs flick your heart out in front of you. Full breath in, complete breath out. And then gently open the eyes, release the hands. Triangle, right leg forward, left leg back. Open up the insides of the thighs, another culprit to some of that low back pain. So get a pretty good distance here, find out where you need to be. I always bend into like my warrior two or my extended side angle knee because that lets me know where I need to be, right? So that lines me up. You're on a balance beam, so front heel's in line with back arch. Take this left thigh back. Take the arms out to the side, get nice and tall. Take a couple breaths here, as many as you need to peel up out of the waist. When you're ready, hinge at the right side of the hip, bring the hands down to the block or the floor. Inside the foot, a little more therapeutic. Outside the foot, a little more challenging. But keep pushing the big toe mound down, everybody on that right foot. Keep that right side body opening up. And then maybe start to rotate open. So the top of the ribs go back, the bottom of the ribs go forward. Maybe we start to play with the balance. We start to look up that left arm towards the sky. Breathe. Inhale, come up nice and tall. Bend into that lead knee, warrior two, then the elbow to the thigh. Sweep the bicep up, extended side angle, Utthita Parsvakonasana. Hand can go down to the block or the floor again. Play where what feels good to you. Keep spinning that right shoulder back. It's going to try to come forward on you. Root it back. Core, so, well, belly and shutters. Now start to rotate open. Inhale, come up to that warrior two. Take those hands behind the back, bow to the inside of that right thigh, come the humble warrior. Look to that front left corner of the mat. Spine will get long, then maybe the arms start to reach overhead. One more breath. Exhale the hands down to the mat. Spin that back heel up, step forward. Swing the arms up, big reach. Maybe curl back that little bit. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front. Nice, y'all. Swap side too. Left leg forward, right leg back. Back toes are just slightly turned forward. Right, that's going to help you get into that internal rotation or to take that thigh back. If the thigh goes out, what happens? This comes forward. So I got to keep going this way. Take the arms out to the side. Yep, when you're ready, hinge at the left side of the hip. Right, lots of shit happen in this pose. You got to keep the power in the legs. You got to keep that left side body opening up because it wants to go in a side crescent. Don't let it. So maybe squeeze your right side body, the top side, to then lengthen the left side. Maybe rotate open. Maybe challenge that balance as you look up. One more breath. Then inhale, come up into the straight leg. Then bend into the lead knee, warrior two, as the elbow goes to the thigh. Then sweep that bicep up along the cheek. Back to the shutters and the belly. You all know I say that every single pose, right? And I don't even care because that's the shit that we need to focus on, right? If we lose our belly and our shutters, we're not going to extend the pose, which the expansion here is rotating. Top of the ribs back, bottom of the ribs forward. One more breath. Inhale, come up tall to that warrior two. When your hands go behind your back, if your left pinky was under, right pinky this time. The uncomfortable way. And then look to that front right corner of your mat as you bow into that humble warrior. Then maybe the arms start to reach up overhead that little bit. But play where what feels good to you. Power in the legs, freedom here, opening up the chest and the arms into that deep fold. And then release the hands down to the floor. Spin the back heel up, step forward. Swing the arms up, big reach. Maybe curl back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Stay with your breath. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step or jump back, downward dog. Move through your vinyasa 3 times. Stay with your breath. From downward dog, exhale, lower your knees, child's pose. Grab a drink, wipe your face, whatever feels good to you. Vajrasana, if you don't want to go all the way down, you can stay here. Whatever your flavor is. You can go Yana Mudra, is where your thumb and your pointer finger touch, and then you let the heel of your hand rest at the top of your thigh. You can let your eyes close. Full breath in, complete breath out. Take a few rounds of these. And inhale, come up, open your eyes. Give those toes a little wiggle. And then hands down. We're all going to work off of child's pose, so we want to take our knees wide, like this, okay? And then our arms are going to be up overhead, and we're going to work sit bones to heels. Then on the inhale, you're going to come forward, like in all fours with our knees wide. Exhale, you're going to soften that pelvis towards the mat. Inhale, you're going to push back up. Exhale, you're going to go sit bones to heels. So let's go together. Inhale, come up, like all fours with your knees wide. Exhale, softens the pelvis. Nice opener in the front of the thighs. Inhale, come up, insides. Exhale, take sit bones to heels. Inhale, come up, work on your breath. Exhale, soften the pelvis. Inhale, pushes back up. Exhale, pushes back. Let's do 3 more. Your feet are coming up? Yeah, keep pushing them together. Yeah. Because the action of pushing your feet together would be engaging. Think of like shins in as you'd push your feet in. Now you got engagement in the adductors. Now you can stretch the fibers, right? When we don't engage muscles, this is my last one. When we don't, whatever yours is. When we don't engage muscles, we'll meet back in child's pose. We start to stress the attachments. So that's why it's really important to keep muscles engaged as we're starting to stretch them. That would be the hug in here, like pushing your feet together. And then inhale, come up, all fours, hands and knees. Take your right leg over your left. Take your feet apart and sit back between your heels. And then reach down to your left sit bone, pull it back and out, and then the right. Now we're on that like top rim of the pelvis here, coming around the outside of the hip a little bit. Sit up nice and tall. Just take that little hinge forward. Chest comes first. What wants to go first? Chin, don't let it. Throat is back, chest goes first. Same thing here, right? I'm hugging shins in, right? Even though my shins aren't near each other. Just like I'm activating from my feet, it's to get muscles engaged here, right? So then they can start to stretch. A couple more breaths. And then inhale, come up. Swap side 2, so either break dance in the side 2 or come up to all fours and then swap the legs. And then feet apart and sit back between your heels. Bottom side first, so this time reach down to the right sit bone, pull it back and out. and then the left. When you do the left, you should feel the left sit bone get closer to the mat. We want that. And then sit up nice and tall. You might be happy here. If you need to go a little bit further, take that little hinge. Head and throat back, chest comes first. Nice, y'all. Play with the pose where it feels good to you, but don't lose the engagement. Keep hugging in. And then inhale, come up, unwind the legs, spin around all fours. Take a breath. Step back to plank. Keep pushing down here. Feel that belly engaging to the spine, right? Feel those shutters closing. The more you push down, you feel that there has to be an engagement, right? Your body's responding to this action. Gravity's trying to pull you down. So the more you push down, the more you're going to lift up. Downward dog. Roll to the outside of the right foot, stack the left foot on top or in front, come into side plank. Turn the bicep forward to root into the upper back. Push out of the big toe mounds to charge the legs up into the hips. Maybe even start to look up the arm. Inhale, come back to center, push back, downward dog. Take a breath, roll to the outside of the left foot, stack the right foot on top or in front. Work from the feet, work from the hand. Pull everything up into the body and then play with it. Maybe look up, soften the face. Inhale, come back to center, push back, downward dog. Reach the right leg straight back, step through, lunge. Exhale, lower the back knee, lizard. So we're going to take that right foot out to the right edge of your mat, and we might even turn the toes open, which will make it a little more accessible. Then my little trick that I always show you is you want to drag the back knee forward because this hip wants to drop like this, right? So don't let the left arm go first, let the right arm come down first, and that'll help you hold that hip up a little bit. Then you can let that outside arm, the left one, come up to meet it. If your knee is blowing out the side like this, move your foot out a little bit wider. Then you could push that big toe mound down. You could hug the knee back in. And then if you want to get even fierier in those hip flexors, lift the back knee up. And keep looking forward. Yeah. See, if you look down, it kind of starts to unwind it. When you look forward, it keeps working that extension. As the heel reaches back, let the front knee reach forward, crown of the head forward, breathing side to side. One more breath. If the knee is up, lower it down, come up halfway. Bend your left knee, reach back with your right hand, grab your ankle, your foot, or your strap. Walk your left hand forward so your thumb is in line with your big toe. And take the hand to the outside of your mat. Now start to curl back. So you got to keep turning that bicep forward to take the left shoulder back. Now open the right side of the chest. Here's the twist. Now, as you drag the back knee forward, draw the heel to the sit bone for the quad stretch. But a lot of shit happening, right? Tons. Don't lose the belly. Don't lose the shutters. So we don't just manipulate the rib cage here. We want to rotate the spine. We want to twist. Then we want to pull that heel to the sit bone for that quad stretch. One more breath. Watch the boing as you release. Inhale, come back to center. Wiggle the foot back in. Nice, y'all. Lift that back knee. Step back, downward dog. Move through one vinyasa. When you're ready, reach the left leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. Lower the back knee. We're going to go lizard side 2. So take your left foot out to the left edge of your mat. You could even turn those toes open again, just makes it a little more accessible. See, if I go with my right arm first, see how this hip wants to drop on me? And I already know I got to bring some extra energy to holding it up. So bring your left elbow down first. Yep. Now you could let the right meet and you'll be able to hold on to that right hip a little bit easier. Like nothing's easy, right? It's all a challenge. But you're just trying to find out like what's going to be a little more optimal and a little more efficient for my practice, right? You don't want to waste any of this shit. This is hard. When you build something up, you don't want it to crumble. You want it to hold so you can build on it again. So right now, if you feel comfortable, you lift that back knee, right? You took the pose a little bit further here. If it wasn't time to lift the back knee, that's okay. What's the pose asking you? Now, as you drag that front heel back to you, right, you feel this, you even feel some energy in the back of the leg here. Keep reaching the knee forward. As you reach that right heel back, you just feel a big opener in the front of that right thigh. One more breath, right at that hip crease especially. And then lower the knee. Inhale, come up halfway. This time you're going to bend your right knee, reach back with your left hand. Then the right thumb will go forward so it's in line with your left big toe. Now start to open the chest, so that's when you're curling back into that right shoulder, the right upper back. Then as you take the twist nice and deep, start to play with the heel to the sit bone. And play with those actions. The rotation through the spine, the twist, and the quad stretch. A couple more breaths. And then watch the boing as you release. Inhale, come back to center, wiggle the foot back in, lift the back knee, downward dog. Move through one vinyasa. Your breath. Nice, y'all. Big openers there. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through. Pigeon. Trying to get some of this stuff open right along this rim right here in the back of the hip. That's where some of these bigger openers that I'm trying to get with y'all today are. So hug in. I know a lot of you like to fold. So when you hug in, you get that lift, right? At any moment, I could take my hands off the floor. That's how much power is in my legs. Then if I want to fold, I walk my hands out and I fold to the floor, right? I don't collapse. This is a collapse. This is not the pose, right? We want to fold here. So if my breath was 2 seconds, I want for 2 seconds, I want to fold. Right, or whatever the length of my exhale, whatever your exhale is, that's how long you want to fold for. Now, let's say you need this to be a little more intense. If you come up halfway, you take your left hand onto the ball of your right foot and you push like a gas pedal. And then you hug in. Now lift your front knee up and move it back, excuse me, an inch or two. Then hug in again, lift your back knee up, move it back an inch or two. Now we got a better stretch on the back of that hip, right? Now maybe fold into the pose again. Couple more breaths. Keep the head and the throat sliding back here. Chest goes first. And then inhale, come up, place the hands. Lift the hips, unwind that right leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Extend out of that hip. Keep sweeping the inner heel out so the toes point straight down. Exhale, lower it down. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through. Pigeon side two. Yep, so nice and wide on the knee. Then activate from the feet right up the leg. Right, keep hugging in. Feel that you got the power. You don't have to take your hands up to do that. Just feel that your legs are super engaged. Then when you're ready, go to the freedom. That's the fold, the bend, the twist, the reach, right? Whatever we go to. I tend to work a lot of power with y'all, right? We do a pretty strong practice. Today, more on the organic side, right? More on the stretchy side, trying to open a lot of things up. Then the trick was come up halfway. This time it'd be right hand to left ball of the foot. Push like a gas pedal, hug in. Lift the front knee up, move it back an inch or two, hug back in. Lift the back knee up, move it back an inch or two. And then go back to the fold. Whew. One side will be different, right? We look symmetrical, but we are not. If that one side is tighter, don't lose the engagement. Keep hugging in, right? That's how your body's going to feel safe to then let the muscles open and lengthen. Inhale, come up, place the hands, lift the hips, unwind that left leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Exhale, lower it down. Look forward, bend your knees. Step or jump between your hands. Swing your arms up, big reach. Maybe curl back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front. Nice, y'all. Grab your mats, find a spot on the wall. We'll go upside down. If you're at home, you don't have the wall to kick up on, lay on your back. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor. And then you can interlace your hands behind your thigh as you reach the heel to the sky. Take a bunch of breaths here. This will feel real nice in the low back and the pelvis. You can swap side too. If you are at home or in the studio, it's not your day to invert, you can always go legs up the wall or do a pose that feels good. Legs up the wall is going to be a real nice therapeutic for the top of the pelvis and the low back. Okay? So when you take your legs up the wall, you want your butt to be all the way to the wall. You don't want there to be a space. Sometimes the easier way is, how we do this when we do the quad stretch, right? We get close to the wall and then we kind of spin our leg up. You do the same thing here. Like get your butt, like bring the side of your hip like real close to the wall. Then when you spin your legs up, your butt will be right next to the corner. That's where you want to be. Now I'll talk everyone through downward dog and L pose. The therapeutic inversion would be downward dog, right? That'll be nice to work that upside down, but still nice and safe. All right, so if you want to stick with me, we'll go all fours, hands and knees. Feet are touching the wall. If you want to go on your own, handstand, headstand, tripod, anything you want to mess with, go for it. Okay? So from all fours, take a couple breaths. When you're ready, lift the knees and the hips. If you feel comfortable, step one foot up the wall and then the second foot up. And then if your knees are bent, that's downward dog inverted, right? Downward dog's an inversion anyway. Your head's below your heart. But here it's a little more challenging. L pose would be you straightening your legs. It's going to make it a little more of a challenge in the upper back, whatever feels good to you. It was one of those you're just like in space, right? Like, ooh. Nice, y'all. Yes. To do handstand? The kick up or the actual handstand? So the kick up, you would do like donkey kicks, right? Would be like the energy in the leg to kick up. When we kick up, don't think legs up, think hips up, right? Sometimes we think, oh, drive that heel to the sky, and think of the hips going up. Then in the actual handstand itself would be a build-off mountain pose, right? So handstand is really just Tadasana, right, with our arms up overhead. It's same thing, right? So your planks, right, any of those things are going to help strengthen that up. Downward dog. Those are the kind of preparatory poses, right, that'll get you there. But yeah, try are you working on that now? Yeah, try the donkey kicks.
to feel what it's like to energize the legs. We kind of built up the plank part and so walk forward so your shoulders are on top of your wrist crease. Go to downward dog. Now see how your shoulders are behind your wrists? So walk your feet forward. Don't come forward to plank. Yeah. Keep walking. There. Now when your shoulders are on top of your wrist, pick a spot between your hands to stare at. Yes. Now when you're ready, bend the one knee, and when you kick up, think hips to the sky and push down into your hands. Exhale as you kick. Yeah. Yes. Yep. You feel yourself starting to like leave the floor, right? So the more that you're going to push down, the more your hips are going to go up. But we want to work from that shoulders on top of our wrists setup. Otherwise, we got to travel through the shoulders in a different way, and it's going to make it a little more challenging. Yeah. And then give yourself maybe about 30 seconds. Yes. And y'all should feel the difference between trying to take your feet to the sky and trying to take your hips to the sky. There's a difference, right?
So about 15 seconds, take your time.
And then we'll meet on our backs. So today I just happen to be on the mat. Next time I see you when I'm not on the mat, I'll come over and give you a hand. And we'll get into some personal detail cues. Okay. Yeah, today I'm on, with the cameras. But yeah, we'll get it together next time I see you. Yeah, that's a good, I tell you all the time, right? Yoga, there's always going to be tons of goals, right, that you're going to try to reach. And I always you even hear me say it in my closing, I always say to the challenge, right? I know the challenge is there, but to me, that's what keeps me coming back. The first time I practiced yoga, I looked at Jess and I was like, I can't wait for next Monday because it was so challenging to me. And of course I went in with the athlete, I'm gonna kick this shit's ass, right? I can't wait. No, I got whooped on, right? In a great way, in a positive way. But that gave me the fuel to want to come back, right? And then what's going to happen when you get handstand? Yoga's going to go, oh, great job. You worked on that for 4 months. Oh, well, let's do something else, right? And then then you're going to work on something else. You work on that for a couple months and yoga will go, oh, great job, but here's something else, right? So it never stops. All right, supported bridge is going to be your most comfortable back bend here to keep the low back safe. It's really meant for that, to teach you how to hold that space. So if you take the block, most of you are going to go low and medium. I know some of you go high, so whatever your flavor is. But I would take the block, and I'm going to put it at my sacrum, so the top of my pelvis. Where my crack is going to be too low. Where my lumbar spine is too high. I got to be right on that solid part of the pelvis. And what it's going to feel like is now I got stability there. I can draw my belly in. It's nice and easy, right? It's efficient. The sit bones can reach to the backs of the knees, and I can hold the space a little bit easier. Now, if you want to hold that supported bridge, you could take the shoulders under, and you can hang out here. If you want to work bridge and wheel, I'll talk you into those. So here we go. Set the feet up so they're hips width apart. Your knees are on top of your ankles, so if you feel your heels, that's a pretty good way to measure that. Sacrum is flat, head and shoulders are back. You need more support, go robot with your arms. Now, charge the legs up. Fire up that belly, and then slowly lift the hips. See, here in back bend, in this bridge, your belly's got to go to your spine, and your sit bones are going to go to the backs of your knees. That keeps the lumbar spine solid. The back bend is happening in your thoracic spine, so your middle upper back. So wiggle your shoulders under a little bit. Keep pushing down into your feet, and feel that belly in, sit bones to the backs of the knees, and your low back's going to feel safe. Maybe you could take the shoulders under a little deeper. Some of you will interlace your fingers, whatever your flavor is. One more breath. Then stay engaged as you lower down. Take the feet wide, let the knees touch. One hand on your low belly, one hand on your heart, one hand on your low belly. Now on the second one, I'll talk you into wheel.
The way to keep your low back safer in wheel is to lift the heels up. Whenever you lengthen the curve, you're going to make it more efficient, easier to get into, okay? So we'll talk that as we get there. Inhale, open the knees, reset the feet, bring the arms along the sides. When I talk you into bridge first, if you want to stay there, awesome. If you're going to work wheel, same awesome. All right, here we go. Charge it up. When you're ready, slowly lift the hips. Take those shoulders under a little bit. So here's your bridge, belly to spine, sit bones to the backs of the knees. If you're going to go wheel, place your hands wide to the edges of your mat and turn your hands out. Your shoulders, your elbows are going to come in line with your shoulders. Now plug your shoulders back, push down to come up. So if you lift your heels, you see mine are up, you're going to lengthen the curve. It's going to make it a lot more efficient. One more breath. Stay engaged as you lower down. Take the feet wide, let the knees touch. If your right hand was on your heart last time, left hand, opposite hand to your low belly. And then from here, windshield wiper the knees. Nice open twists here, feel good through that whole spine. Next time they fall to the right, let them settle there. Take a nice few breaths here with that open twist. You can bring the arms out to the side if you want. You can look away from the bent knees. Belly's in, shutters closed. Inhale, come back to center. Let the knees fall towards the left. If you want, you can look away from the knees again. If you have any neck issues, just let your head stay in line with your chest and your twists. Inhale, come back to center. Hug the knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug or some small circles on your low back, and the pelvis there should feel nice. Lower your left foot to the floor. Inhale, the right leg to the sky. Interlace the hands behind the thigh. Draw the thigh down into the hip. So the back of the hand, the back of the leg, you're pulling your hands like down to your hip. Lower that right leg, hug the left knee in, interlace the hands behind the thigh. Sweep that inner heel out just a little bit, and then draw the fingers down the back of the thigh. Bend the knees, you release, take the legs out straight, reach the arms up overhead. Spread the fingers, spread the toes, feel all that space. And then hug the knees to the chest, come to happy baby, Ananda Balasana. Knees are nice and wide here, wider than the shoulders. You can rock side to side. You can reach one leg out, both legs out, whatever feels good to you. And when you're ready, inhale the knees to center, exhale the legs out straight. We'll take Shavasana. Beautiful practice, crew. Feel free to add or remove layers or props. An easy one for the low back is if you lift up your butt from the mat, push the fleshiness towards your heels, and then place your butt back on the mat. And there'll be this nice settling over the low back and the pelvis. You could also take a rolled up blanket or the blocks underneath your knees so that they bend like this a little bit. That softens the hip crease, the hip flexors, and lets the low back settle. So whatever feels good to you here. As you lay back, let the feet gently roll open. The legs are stretching out. And the arms come along the sides and the shoulders settle back as the palms turn to the sky. Your head rests back, maybe your eyes close for a few breaths. We let the tongue soften from the roof of the mouth as the body gets heavy. As the mind softens, it gets light, turns back to the breath. As the heart opens, it gets ready to move the practice from the mat into the yoga of life. We talked about those challenges in our practice. Our practice sets us up for those challenges in our everyday life. Because no matter what it is, it all follows that same progression. We take a breath, we set a foundation, we engage, and we express. It's the same thing we do right here on our mat with every pose. It's the same thing you do when you interact with each other. Begin here to draw in a deeper breath, feeling the breath washing over the body, your toes to your fingers, to the crown of your head, to your heart, as you reawaken that better version of yourself. As the fingers and the toes wiggle, let the arms and the legs stretch or reach or move in a way that feels good to you. Taking your time, moving slowly. When you're ready, you can hug your knees to your chest and just roll to the right side. Push your hands down as you come up to a seated position. We'll meet together with our eyes closed and our hands in front of our hearts. One more time to seal in our practice, our time together with our Kula, our yoga family. Together, the sound of Om. All together, deep breath in. As we softly bow our head to our hearts.
Our heads to each other's hearts. Bro, that hard work, that determination, that challenge, the love and the support you ladies give each other is to you that I bow. Namaste.
Thanks, crew. Good to see everyone. Home crew. You know, if you have any questions or anything, grab me before you go. Something feels weird, definitely. Maybe I'll see some of y'all tomorrow or Saturday. If not, I'll see you soon. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, home crew. 11th. Yeah, my workshop on arm balances and inversions, October